Hi everyone, this is part 3 of the session 3 of Frequency Bone Summer Music Connection 5. The first couple of years is what we're talking about here, and I want to now be even more specific as I tried to be in the last one. Depending on a person, you might want to introduce all sorts of different things in these first couple of years. Long tones. Why not? After the first 5-6 months, say, hey, how long can you hold this note out? Take a stopwatch out and time it. That'll be fun. That's a challenge. And then you can even say, how short can you play that note? Now that gets interesting. And all in between, little things like this, that could take someone a couple minutes a day. And then their usual exercises, okay? And then I would also start to encourage, and this is something I wanted to say. I wanted to say that it's important to encourage their listening of music. I was convinced I wanted to be just like J.J. Johnson when I was in 4th grade. Oh, I couldn't wait. My mother got me one of his recordings, and I was trying to copy it in 4th grade and whatever I was doing. But it was great. And all of a sudden she decides, out of the blue, to put on this other recording that was the William Tell Overture with the NBC Symphony in Toscanini. This little 45. Maybe it was a 78. I couldn't believe what I heard. And that was a year later. And as soon as I heard that, I knew I wanted to be in a symphony orchestra. So from age 10, when she put that recording on, I went, I want to be in an orchestra. And I had a sense of direction. You might come across kids like that. And so you want to encourage them to listen to different kinds of music, because you never know what it's going to inspire in them. Now, when is it too early to say, stop cutting the note off with your tongue? Well, I don't know if you want to say stop cutting the note off with your tongue. You might want to bring it up. You know what? There's different ways to stop a note. And this can also introduce air support in a certain kind of way, but also introduce maintaining your embouchure and decrescendos. That is an excellent thing to do. I think a decrescendo, even maybe a crescendo, you might find that your student has an easier time, they want a crescendo. So you find that they have a habit of going, and you say, okay, now let's just stop there for a minute. Can you take one note and make it go louder? And they might do that. And you're great. Can you do the reverse? And they might do something like that because they don't have the air support yet to maintain it at a level sound. So this is where analogy is very, very important. What a great tool analogy is. You can say, you can even get a flashlight. Turn on the flashlight and have the light go out of the flashlight to demonstrate how straight ahead that sound or that light is. I keep saying sound, isn't that interesting? What a steady beam. Yet it doesn't seem tight. It's just totally steady like that. Can we try to do that? So you take out the flashlight, and maybe they're very visually orientated, and then they can match their sound with the flashlight, so to speak. Or you might want to take a hose, or even pour a glass of water steadily and say, can we do that? Or take them into the bathroom, and if there's one nearby, and turn on the water, and so they can watch the steadiness, something they can do at home too, or the steadiness of the shower. All these kinds of things. Or you might want to tap something out and say, since we're learning 16th notes, an eighth and 2/16, something like that. Let's say they have a rhythm like that. Doesn't have to be exactly like that, of course. And you tap it out like a drum and say, maybe we can sound a little more like a drum by making our note short. And then, of course, the wanting to cut it off with the tongue again will come back. But this is the whole thing. If the teacher can realize that you're in a process with someone, and the student can realize they're in a process in the way that they can understand that, by, yes, you have deadlines. If someone has a lesson every week or a lesson every 3 weeks, not everyone can afford a lesson every week. I certainly couldn't. Then they have goals. And these goals are something that if the person is serious, they'll realize, wow, I want to do that goal. And don't be surprised if they come in with a couple of extra little things that they worked on in the meantime. So these first couple of years, one of the things people start to acquire through this experience is realizing that something is of a certain quality and some things can be at a lesser quality. And if someone is really sensitive to making mistakes, I would try to really help them with that early on. By saying, look, we all do it sometimes, but we all try to get a little bit better as we go on. And the little bits and the little bits and the little bits make a big bit. And sometimes that's missing in teaching, that someone thinks they have to make a lot of improvement immediately, like most people. And to say, nope, it's kind of like the way a person grows. It's a little bit at a time. And so if we can do our bit every day, it's going to gradually create more. And so when to start showing someone legato? When their air starts to feel more steady and they have a good basic at their level way of being able to make some regular articulations and see if you can make them smoother. Talking about projection, instead of, you can use your voice. You can say, see how the air gets a little faster? But not only does the air get faster, because this is where we weave the spirit of the music into everything that we do. It's not only air getting faster. The reason why we're speaking louder is so it can project. And sometimes we speak louder because we're really excited about something, or maybe a bit angry. And so then they can start to see easily the relationship between dynamics and emotion, or sound and projection, or sound and intimacy. Let's play this like the baby's sleeping. And not only will they know that it has to be soft, but there's some tenderness in that. So all these are very important things that can be woven into the first couple years in their solos and everything like that. So I hope this series of 3 videos is useful in forming the attitudes, a look into the overlay system, which we will be touching on throughout this whole series this summer, and still always taking that person, whether it's you as the teacher or you as the player, you're your own unique self. And that's the instrument that's important to work with as we progress and move on.